Hello, this is the first of a series of videos that I plan to do regarding money, and it won't be in a prepared order, but I will try my best to follow a sequence that will help you understand everything about the topic. The first thing that comes to my mind is the main assumption that has become even a slogan. When people ask what is money to anybody, the first thing that comes to people's minds and what they answer mindlessly is that money is a medium of exchange. Well, is that all that is to it? And is it even a correct assumption according to their premises? I must say no, it isn't. Money is not simply a medium of exchange. Not in the terms that most people put. And why? Because most people simply depart from the idea that money is a medium of exchange because you use it to exchange it for products or services. But that is very incomplete, to say the least. And I will already in advance say what would be the correct terminology for money, at least a more complete one. It would be money is a medium of indirect exchange. Well, you might think, well, so what? It's very important because it traces back to the origins of money 10,000 years ago. And some people might even scratch their heads and think, well, 10,000 years ago? Yes, 10,000 years ago, roughly speaking. But no less than 9,000 years ago. In ancient Mesopotamia, where money was invented, everything that money is to this day was established there. And we cannot circumvent it. We cannot escape it. We cannot escape the fundaments, the foundations, and the ontology of money, perhaps I can say. Before the invention of writing, through the system invented by the scribes of ancient Mesopotamia, the cuneiform script, people already engaged in commerce. And yes, you can think about people exchanging one product for another in a barter scheme, right? You have barley and you exchange it for sheep. Then it's barter. You barter one thing for another. So John produces sheep and Paul produces barley. If both agree to exchange their production according to whatever they think is equivalent in terms of quantities, they will conclude the transaction. So it's a direct exchange. There's no need for a medium of exchange, because both agree and both will render one thing for another directly. And then the issue comes when one does not want it. So let's say John wants to exchange his sheep for Paul's barley, but Paul doesn't want John's sheep. What happens? They cannot conclude a direct exchange of production if there is no medium to conclude it. So what does John propose to Paul then? What John proposes, or that he could propose in such a embryonary stage of human civilization 10,000 years ago, when there was no written system, there was no accounting system, no banking system, of course, when there was nothing besides people exchanging one product for another in a barter scheme. So what could Paul do, or John do, about the non-agreement of exchange between both? Let's say that this society was not composed only of John and Paul, and let's assume that John has a piece of land that he uses to breed his sheep, to create his sheep, and Paul has also a piece of land, and both have their families taking care of their production, right? They are the patriarchs, let's say. And then it's not only them that live in that region. They also have Matthew, to use another biblical name. So Matthew also lives close nearby. Lamb has a piece of land. Let's say Matthew produces grapes, for the lack of a better product, but grapes. Let's say Matthew produces grapes. And then John, then in that situation in which there was no agreement between both, John proposes, well, I understand you don't want my sheep, but do you know Matthew? Do you know this person, Matthew, who lives across the valley? And then Paul responds, well, yes, I do know Matthew. He produces grapes, and I would love to get my hands on those grapes, and but he never wanted my barley. So we never agreed to exchange barley for grapes. Same situation. So John then proposes, well, I also know Matthew, and what I propose is Matthew wants my sheep, but I don't want his grapes. I have no use for his grapes. I don't. It's forbidden. Our religion doesn't allow to consume grapes or anything of the like, any fruits, let's say. And then Paul responds, wow, so what? So what? He wants, you don't want it, same thing, right? There's no deal here. You cannot do anything. But then, John says, yes, it's the same situation, but I will promise you, I will take your barley today. Listen to me, I will take your barley today. And then Paul becomes, wow, what are you talking about? If you try to take my barley, if you try to steal my barley, you're dead. I'll kill you. Do you listen to me, John? I'll kill you. You don't even dare to touch my barley. No single piece of barley will come out of my land. Okay? And then John says, yes, don't worry, I will not steal anything. It's not about that. I'm not threatening to steal your production. What I'm proposing is I will take it today and you will deliver it willingly. And I promise to deliver 10 sheep to whoever comes to my land, let's say in 3 months, until they grow. I don't know how is the development of sheep, how long it takes, but until they grow 3 to 4 months, I give you my word that for your barley, this specific quantity of barley, I will give 10 sheep. And then Paul says, well, I'm not sure I understand. I still don't want your sheep. So you can promise me how many sheep you want. I don't want it. You're not taking my barley. And John says, well, but the promise is not just for you. If you change your mind, you can still come and redeem this promise with my sheep. But you can move, you can take my word forward and give it to Matthew and tell Matthew that I promised, that I gave my word, and that my word represents 10 sheep. And if I don't make good on it, if I don't deliver the 10 sheep to Matthew, then you can kill me, because then I will indeed be stealing from you of your barley. But if I deliver, we will conclude an indirect exchange through my word. Are you starting to get it? Are you starting to see what's going on in here? So my word represents 10 sheep. And Matthew can come to collect the 10 sheep. And then Paul responds, whoa, okay, now I see it. So I come to his land and I tell the same thing. I will tell Matthew, hey, I will take your grapes today. Why? Because John promised to deliver 10 sheep. And I have his word that I will give you. I will then hand it to you. His promise to deliver 10 sheep if you give me your grapes today. And he said that if he doesn't do it, he doesn't deliver, we can kill him. We can even kidnap his family and make them slaves. So Matthew accepts the offer and then takes John's word, even without John being aware of it. John is then obligated by his word, his promise, to deliver it. So then Matthew gives his grapes to Paul, and after 3 months, Matthew looks at his vineyard and whoa, he remembers, well, I had 10 sheep to collect from John. If I go today, I can collect them. But you know what? I don't want this sheep anymore. But I still have his word. It's worth 10 sheep. So I'm gonna go to, I don't know, Anthony's place and offer John's word, because Anthony has some great beer, you know, and I really want the beer, not sheep, not now. I don't need any sheep right now, but Anthony wants their sheep. So Matthew goes to Anthony's place and then offers the word. And the word is then moved forward. It circulates within the community or that embryonic society. When Anthony finally comes to John's land to collect, he says, hey, I have here your word. It was passed on to me by Matthew. He took my beer, and yes, I'm coming here to collect, to redeem this promise in like goods. So, and here is specified that it's sheep, and I want the sheep. What happened then? John delivers the sheep. The word is then turned in, it becomes void, null and void, because he delivered it, he redeemed it. The promise is fulfilled. He no longer circulates. It comes into existence to represent future production, and it ceases to exist when it's redeemed. It ceases to circulate when it's redeemed. When the value that was promised is delivered. So that promise is broken. It no longer represents value. No longer represents anything. It was already delivered. And the cycle of exchange, of indirect exchange, then is concluded. The word was the money, currency. And I say the word was the first form of currency. I have written this many years ago. It's simply logic. This is it. Well, this is the first video that I wanted to introduce you what money is, will seek to make other videos like this, and bring forward my learnings and to share with you what I have learned through many years. So I don't know, 15 years of studies, deep studies, and also of course to share what I have learned through the work of Mike Montaigne. Most of it that I have learned was because of his work, that still stands as the right explanation on what's going on monetarily in the world and what we should be conscious about. Well, this is it, and see you next time. Thank you.